Good morning once again. It's 11 o'clock now, and we have to start with our lesson for grade 7 mathematics. I hope that the lesson will be exciting. And once again, if you experience any difficulties, please feel free to talk to me at any time. My name is Hendrik Makaneta, and of course, you can reach me out on the Twitter account as well. I'll also give you the cell number at the end of this lesson. By the end of this lesson, I want us to be able to calculate the volume. You will remember that at some point we did the surface area for 3D objects. And what we never touched on was the volume. And today, I to look at the volume of the 3D object. Now, what is important is that whenever you experience a problem, you can stop me at any time just so that I can explain to you. Right, we are carrying on, and of course, we know that the volume of a rectangular prism is given by the formula. Volume is equal to length multiplied by breadth multiplied by height. Or alternatively, you can say V is equal to L times B times H. So you'll remember that we had some rectangular prisms in the past, including the cube. And today we are going to look at the different measurements of the rectangular prisms. And of course, we are not going to waste time, but to zoom directly into the first example. Now, in this example, we say, find the volume of this rectangular prism. Use the formula. Now, you are given the length of 7 centimeters there. You are given the breadth of 3 centimeters. You are also given the height of 2 centimeters. And the question says, find the volume of this rectangular prism. Now, use the formula. So I've just shown you the formula now, that V is equal to L times B times H. That is the formula to calculate the volume of a rectangular prism. And sure, we are now going to use the formula to find the volume. So we are going to use this formula for the volume. V is equal to L times B times H, which is the height. So you are given the length, which is 7, and the breadth, which is 3, and the height, which is 2 centimeters. And of course, if you multiply them out, the length will be 7, as you know, and the breadth is 3 centimeters, and the height is 2 centimeters. Now, at this point, you should be able to see that when you multiply 7 by 3, you get 21. And 21 times 2 will give you 42 cubic centimeters. So your volume will be in cubic centimeters rather than the square centimeters, because you are multiplying centimeter there by centimeter by 2 centimeters there. So 7 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 2 centimeters. So that will give you 42 cubic centimeters. 42 cubic centimeters. That will be the volume. That's how we calculate the volume of this particular rectangular prism. Remember that the rectangular prism is just like your box. It's an object which has got about 6 faces, as we have done in the past when we calculated the surface area. We will look at the little bit of surface area today as well. but the core part of today's lesson will be based on the volume of the rectangular prism, be it a cube or any other rectangular prism. Right. We are carrying on to the next example where you need to find the volume of this rectangular prism. And again, you need to use now the formula again. So it's very important that you use the formula just to find the volume of this particular expression, the expression that is given, the rectangular prism, sorry about that. And then you are given the length, which is 5 centimeters, the breadth is 5 centimeters, and the height is also 5 centimeters. So I want you to calculate the volume. Is there anyone who wants to try just to tell us what do you think will be the volume of this rectangular prism, where the length is 5 centimeters, the breadth is 5 centimeters, and the height is 5 centimeters. All right, let's go to Joanna.
So the answer, I think the answer is going to be 125, because 5 times 5 equals to 25, and then 25 times 5 equals to 125.
Exactly. So the answer, as Joanna has just said, will be 125, because all that you need to do really is to multiply the length by the breadth, also by the height. So you should know at this point that the height of is 5 and the breadth is also 5 and the length is also 5. So that is how we are going to find the solution. In this case, the solution will be, as always, you multiply the length by the breadth and the height, and that gives you the volume. So the formula is very important in this case so that you can apply the correct methods. And as you can see, the last one there, you still have your L times B times H, and that will be 5 times 5 times 5. And remember, it's 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. That is why 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125 cubic centimeters. So it will be cubic centimeters. And of course, that is how it will be. Now we go or proceed to example 3, where you need to find the volume of this rectangular prism, and you must use the formula. You need to use now the formula to find the volume of this rectangular prism. The length is given as 10 centimeters. The breadth is given as the breadth is also given there, which is 3 centimeters. And of course, the height is 4 centimeters. Once again, as you can see, we need to use the formula. We need to use the formula to find the volume. And who can tell me what will be the correct formula there? Apart from Joanna, can we get another name? Let's go to, but it's still Joanna again. Can we try Amu now this time? Amu Komote. Please unmute yourself. Amu, can you carry on? Right, Joanna, let's give you a chance.
So the answer will be 120 because 10 times 3 equals to 30, and then 30 times 4 equals to 120.
Joanna?
Okay, the answer will be
Let's go to
120 because
Joanna.
10 times.
Right, we have Bonolo now in the volume. The answer will be 120. You said that 10 times 3 is 30, and 30 times 4 gives you 120. And that is correct. Yes, the answer there will be 120. So if you look at this expression here, you will have length multiplied by breadth multiplied by height. So definitely your answer will be 120, because if you multiply the length times breadth times height, and of course the length is 10, the breadth is 3, the height is 4. So if you multiply 10 by 3, you get 30. And of course 30 times 4 will give you 120. So 120 cubic centimeters, that will be your final answer there. I hope that it makes sense. Right, we are carrying on with our lesson, and we are going to look at this activity. In the activity here, you can see that we have a cube, and the cube has dimensions 6 centimeters multiplied by 6 centimeters multiplied by 6 centimeters. So in this case, we are going to calculate two things. One, the volume of the cube. Two, the surface area of the cube. So remember the surface area. I've taught you the surface area before, and today you are doing the volume. But now in this activity, I want you to calculate the volume of the cube as well as the surface area. The volume of the cube as well as the surface area. Let's carry on. Right, we will go to the participants. Let's go to Stelo. Stelo, please go ahead, calculate the volume.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think the volume of the cube is 216 because 6 times 6 times 6 is 216.
All right, is your TV on, Stelo?
Oh, the TV. Yeah, can you hear me?
We can't hear you properly because of the noise in the background. If you can just switch off your...
I was saying the volume. I think the volume of the cube is 216.
Okay. Also, you're talking about the volume of the cube. Great.
Yes.
That's what we are doing. But I was also talking about the volume of your TV there, just in the background. So we have two volumes there: the volume of the TV and the volume of the cube. Now let's concentrate. Let's concentrate on the volume of the cube for mathematics. You know that the cube has dimensions, 6 centimeters multiplied by 6 centimeters and multiplied it by 6 centimeters. So what is the volume? Hello, what did you say is the volume? What's
The
your
volume
answer?
is 216.
How much? Come again?
It's 216. 216, sir.
All right. Stella, I'm gonna have to leave you now.
Sir, again,
unfortunately, the volume of any cube is given by the formula V is equal to L times B times H. That is your formula. And remember, this is, since this is a cube, since our prism there is a cube, then every side is equal to the next in a cube. So 6 and 6 and 6, if you multiply together, so 6 times 6 will give you 36, and 36 multiplied by 6 will give you 216 volume of this cube, where the length is 6. All right, so that's how you will find the volume. So the volume in this case will be 6 times 6 times 6, which is 260 cubic centimeters. I hope that it makes sense, and I hope that I'm not fast, that you are able to follow. So remember, what we did there was to find now the volume of the cube. But now we also have to find the surface area of the cube. Let's now go and find or calculate the surface area. Do you still remember the formula to calculate the surface area? Do you still remember the formula? When we did our surface area, I said the area of the one side of the cube, you multiply that by the number of faces in a cube. So if you know the number of faces in a cube, then you can take the area of one face, and then you multiply that with the number of faces. If you know the area, you multiply that by the number of faces in the cube. What is the surface area of the cube? What is the surface area of the cube? Right. Before I can do it for you, let's attempt. I want us to work. If you have a pen and paper there, please work it out. As we welcome non-transfer. If you have a pen and paper, please work it out. All right, let's go to James Masango. James, can you see the activity here? The question says, what is the surface area of the cubes? Do you still remember how we calculate the surface area of a cube? I've done this with you before. James?
Hello, sir.
Yes, James?
Sir, no, I'm new here, sir.
Oh, okay. Who's speaking now?
James.
Oh, okay. Also, are you a new learner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I will explain the surface area once again. Thank you, James. Let's carry on.
Yes.
Now, to calculate the surface area, we need to remember the formula. And I've said that the formula to calculate the surface area is given by surface area is equal to 6 S squared, where S stands for the side. Remember, why do we multiply that by 6? Because there are 6 faces in a rectangular prism or in a prism itself. So even in a cube, the 3D object, a cube will have 6 faces. That is why you take the area of one face and you multiply that by 6. So it's 6 times 6 squared. Remember that the side, one side is given as 6, and then it will be 6 times 6 squared, and 6 times 6 squared. This will be 6 times 6 times 6. And again, that will give you 216 cubic centimeters. So if you can check, for the first time, the volume of the cube is equal to the surface area of the cube. They are equal, except that the one is cubic meters and the other one is square meters. So basically that is where we are. And of course, we also have the second activity there. Consider this rectangular prism. You are given the length, the breadth, and the height. Find the volume in this case. Find the volume. Let's find the volume. Yes, Devan. Devan, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. 8 times 4 is 32, and 32 times 3 is just wait, sir. 96
96.
centimeters.
Okay. Right. So you got 96 as your volume.
Yes, sir.
So you said volume is length times breadth times
And
height,
height.
and 8 times 4 is 32, and 32 times 3 gives you
96.
what? 96. Definitely. Of course, the volume will be length multiplied by breadth multiplied by height, and of course the length is 8 centimeters and the breadth is 4, the height is 3. So 8 times 4 gives you 32, and 32 times 3 gives you 6. So definitely your solution will be 96. So the volume will be 96 cubic centimeters. That will be the volume. And now we are proceeding to activity 3. Consider the rectangle 5 centimeters, the breadth is 2,5, the height is 3 centimeters. Find the volume in this case. So if you have a pen and paper, please use your pen and a paper to find or to calculate the volume using the formula. I have already taught you the formula to calculate the volume. You should know the formula by heart now. Or you have written down the formula somewhere in your paper. And then let's find the volume. Right, we have Rita. We've got Rita, Connie, and Nombuso Mabane.
Yes, sir.
Mabane.
Yes.
Mabane, yes.
6,5 times 2,5 and times 3 centimeters equal to 48,75.
Just double check that. You say 6,5 times 2,5 times 3.
Yes.
I saw you calculate that correctly?
Let me try it.
6,5 times 2,5 will give you 16,25. And then if you multiply that by 3, okay, let's start again. It will be 6,5 times 2,5 times 3. So you say you got how much? 48,75.
Yes, 48, comma,
75.
yes.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Pardon the error there. The correct answer would be 48,75. So I agree with you. That is the correct answer. Thank you very much indeed. So your volume will be 48,75 cubic centimeters. That will be your volume. That will be your volume. And then I want us to now look at the class activity now, which we can do. Consider these cubes. One, find Roman figure 1, the volume. Roman figure 2, surface area. A and B there. The length in A, you need to find the length of a side, which is 2 centimeters. And then, of course, what you need to find is the volume and the surface area where you are given the length of 2 centimeters there. In the A, in B, the length is 4 centimeters, and that's number 1. Number 2, find the length and the surface area of a cube if the volume, A, the volume is 343 cubic centimeters, B, the volume is 1,728 cubic centimeters. So in the second one there, you are given the volume. You need to find the length as well as the surface area of a cube. In the first one, you need to find the volume and the surface area when you are given the length. So in number 1, you are given the length of 2 centimeters in A. In B, the length is 4 centimeters. Now you need to find the volume and the surface area. And then the next one here, in number 2, you need to find the length and the surface area when you are given the volume. So basically, you need to be able to move to and fro and back. So let's start with the first one. I hope that you have a pen and a paper there and you are working. You need to find the volume, calculate the volume when the length is 2 centimeters. So we'll start with A, just to find the volume and the surface area. Right, if you are ready with the first one, please, let's start. If you are ready with the first, I want us to start. Right, let's go to Mamukatla. Mamukatla. We seem to have lost Mamukatla there. Can we proceed to, right? I don't see any other hands. If you can just help me out. let's go to Kennedy. Kennedy, can you calculate the volume? Calculate the volume when the length is 2 centimeters. This should be easy. I know that it's a bit tricky, but you can do this. I don't want to give you the answer now. I just want you to work it out. And then before we do the corrections, it looks a bit tricky, but it's actually easy. Find the volume. If you have done it, please unmute yourself and then go ahead. If you are done.
Oh, wow. Two.
Right, please carry on. Please carry on. Please carry on. All right. Mamukatla Sishoka, please go ahead.
Sir, I just wanted to know, how do you calculate the volume?
Right. When I started with this lesson, I gave you the formula to calculate the volume. When I began my lesson today, and I said that the formula to calculate the volume is as follows. If you can remember very well, this is how we started. I said that the volume is calculated as follows. V is equal to length times breadth times height. Now, in that case, we are talking about a cube, and you are given the length of a cube, and the length is 2 centimeters. How are you going to find the volume?
2 centimeters.
How are you going to find the volume? Like I said, I know that it's a bit tricky, but it's actually easy. It's a bit tricky because I can see you only have the length. You don't see the breadth and the height. Okay, maybe let me ask, in this case, in A, what is the length of the side? Who can tell me what is the length?
2 centimeters.
Come again?
The length of the side is 2 centimeters.
Exactly. How do you know?
It says,
It's there. It's
it says
given.
on the screen.
Yes, it's on the screen. Right.
Yes.
The length of the side is 2 centimeters. Now, what is the breadth? How much is the breadth?
That's what I want to know. How do we figure out what is the breadth?
And the height, do you know what the height is?
No.
Okay, fine. But do you know what a cube is?
Yes.
Sir, can I try?
Yes. Who's speaking now?
It's Joanna. I think the answer is going to be 8 because a cube has all sides equal. So we're gonna
Yes.
say 2 times, because it has, I'm sure its side, the length is 2, and then the breadth will become 2, and then the height will be 2. So we're gonna say 2 times 2 times 2 equals to 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 equals to 8.
Thank you very much indeed, Joanna. I did not want to give you the answer, but I can see that you managed to crack it. You are right. It will be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And obviously, the length of the side is 2 centimeters. So this means, because this is a cube, it means all sides are equal. So the length is equal to the breadth, which in turn is equal to the height. So those sides are equal. So length is 2 centimeters, breadth is also 2 centimeters, and the height is also 2 centimeters. So if you multiply them out together, 2 times 2 times 2, you get 8 cubic centimeters there. And then, still in the same note, we know that we have to calculate the surface area. And the surface area will be calculated as follows. The formula for surface area of a cube. Remember, we have done this. We have done the formula already. I have taught you the surface area and the formula for a cube. To calculate the surface area of a cube will be 6s squared. And I said, you don't really have to memorize the formula. You should just know that to calculate the surface area of any rectangular prism, you simply, especially a cube in this case, you simply take the area of one of the faces and then you multiply it by the number of faces. So the number of faces is 6, and then the area is s squared, side by side. That is the area of any square, side by side. You multiply one side by the other. Right, and then we have done A and, okay, we have done 1 and 2 of A, where we multiplied 2 by 2 by 2 to get 8, as Joanna said. We have also done the surface area, where you just multiply 6 by 6 squared, by 2 squared, sorry. So if you multiply 6 by 2 squared, this will be 6 times 2 times 2. And 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. So remember, this will be in square centimeters. So you can see that this one here is your square centimeters. Now, what I want us to do is to go back to our class activity and do B, where the length of a side is 4 centimeters. You need to give us the volume as well as the surface area. When the length has changed now, the length is 4 centimeters. Now I have got many hands. Now let's go to Diabang. What will be the volume? Diabang, are you there? Right, we seem to
Yes,
have lost.
sir.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
Oh, please
Sir,
go ahead.
the volume is 64 centimeters square.
All right. How did you find 64?
So you do 4 times 4 times 4
Exactly. So 4 times 4 will give you 16. And 16 times
times
4.
4 will be 64 centimeters.
Remember, it's not square centimeters, but it will be cubic.
Cubic. Sorry, sir.
Yes, because you are multiplying 3 of those. Right? You have given me the volume. Do you want to answer the surface area as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the surface will be 96 centimeters.
96.
Yes,
And how
sir.
did you find 96?
So you do 6 times 4 times 4.
Exactly. So the length, as you know, will be 4 centimeters. And the volume will be 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64 cubic centimeters. And the surface area will be, you use the formula there, 6s squared, and then of course, 4 squared is 16, and then 16 by 6 there, it's 96. So alternatively, you can say that this is 6 times 4 times 4. And 6 times 4, as we know, is 24. 24 times 4 will give you 96. So there we are now at 96. And then we have done B. Now we need to do the last two, the length of, you are given the length and the surface area of a cube. In fact, sorry, you need to calculate the length and the surface area when the volume is 343. So let's calculate now the length and the surface area when the volume is 343. let's go and calculate the length. So it happens that they give you a volume and then you need to calculate the length. Yes, Amu. Let's go to Amu now. All right, in the absence of Amu, let's go to Rita. Yes, Rita.
Sorry, sir, I raised up my hand. I didn't lower my hand. It was a
Oh, I
mistake.
see.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right. Now we see some hands are still up. Right, it will be easy. Now we need to find the length as well as the surface area. By the way, we found the previous ones, okay? So now we need to find the length and the surface area of a cube. If the volume is 343 cubic centimeters. And of course, you can see here, we use the formula, V is equal to L times B times H. But remember, since this is a cube, then it means the breadth is equal to the length and the H is also equal to the length. They are equal. All right, so they are equal, all of them are equal. So you might as well write L in this case of B, and even in the case of H, you might put L, because in a cube, all sides are equal. So length times length will give us length cubed. And of course, length cubed is equal to 343. The cube root of 343 is 7. So now you get 7 as the length. And to find the surface area, you will use this length of 7 centimeters. You will see that you'll put it in the formula for surface area of a cube, where the side is 7. So 7 squared, that's 49, and 49 times 6 gives you 294. And that's how you find the surface area. Then the next one, you need to find the length when and the surface area when the volume is 1,728, is the same procedure. Volume is equal to length times breadth times height. So since this is a cube, you might as well replace B by L and H by L. Why? Because they are equal. And then L cubed is equal to 1,728. And the cube root of 1,728 will be 12 centimeters. So the length will be 12. And you can use this length to find now the surface area. And of course, you use the formula for the surface area to find the length, which will be 864. Time is not on our side. I want to give you this homework now. For each of the following rectangular prisms, please find the height and the surface area. You are given the volume, the length, and the breadth. That is in A. In B as well, you are given the volume, the length, and the breadth, and all that I want you to find after find the surface area. I hope that you the homework correctly there. As I said in the beginning, you can reach me out on 082-623-2148 on WhatsApp, 082-623-2148. Until we meet again tomorrow. This is your homework. We can mark it in the morning. And then, of course, let's carry on tomorrow with surface area and volume. We are also on media pages, social media, at Africa Teen Geeks, or Facebook, Africa Teen Geeks. This lesson was brought to you by the Lockdown eSchool in partnership with the Sasol Foundation. Until we meet again tomorrow, thank you very much indeed.